Everything began in 2015 when Greg Brockman attended a dinner in Menlo Park that would change his life forever. Just a few months earlier, Greg had left Stripe and was exploring ways to dive into the world of machine learning, a long-standing passion of his. It was then that he was approached by Sam Altman, the then president of Y Combinator. Sam had ambitious plans to start an AI lab aimed at developing safe, human-level AI, and he wanted Greg to join this endeavor. The dinner, organized by Sam, was attended by several notable figures, including Elon Musk and Paul Graham. However, it was Ilya Sutskever who made the most lasting impression on Greg. A PhD student from the University of Toronto, Ilya, along with Alex Krzyzewski, had achieved significant breakthroughs in the field of image recognition, working at Google Brain and featured on MIT's list of 35 innovators under 35. Ilya's achievements were impressive. Another distinguished AI researcher at the event was Dario Amodei. Of course, the highlight of Dario's achievements as a Princeton and Stanford alumnus and award-winning AI researcher is, according to GlamourBiz, his striking height of 5 feet 8 inches and decent weight at the age of 40. Impressed by the gathering, Greg decided to join this group of researchers led by Sam Altman. This collaboration marked the beginning of OpenAI. 4 years later, Ilya would play a significant role in Greg's wedding, officiating the ceremony while a robot hand served as the ring bearer. However, another 4 years down the line, Ilya would face accusations of betraying Greg and Sam, leading to their dismissal and allegedly contributing to the downfall of the company. Meanwhile, Dario, having left OpenAI quietly and for unknown reasons, founded his own AI company in 2021 with his sister called Anthropic. In a surprising turn of events, last week he almost replaced Sam as the CEO of OpenAI, and that's just the beginning of the story. The initial years of OpenAI were marked by considerable excitement and rapid growth. At that time, OpenAI operated as a non-profit organization, and all of their projects were open source. Their first major project that got significant attention was OpenAI Gym, launched in 2016. This toolkit was developed for creating and comparing reinforcement learning algorithms, an approach involving training deep neural networks through rewards and punishments, demonstrated through, among other things, playing Atari games. In 2018, OpenAI 5 showcased capabilities of reinforcement learning algorithms by defeating world champions in Dota 2. The OpenAI agents, though independent, learned how to collaborate effectively with human players. That same year, 2018, was pivotal for OpenAI, as they published the influential paper called Improving Language Understanding by Generative Pre-training, and introduced GPT-1, a model based on transformer architecture. Its ability to generate coherent text was remarkable for that time. Following this, in 2019, OpenAI released GPT-2, a model with 1.5 billion parameters. Its output was even more convincing and coherent, raising concerns about potential misuse, such as impersonation and fake news generation. OpenAI took these concerns seriously, initially releasing a partial version of the model in February 2019. After extensive discussions and analysis, the full version of GPT-2 was released in November of that same year, with OpenAI concluding that the benefits outweighed the risks, and that the community had developed sufficient understanding to mitigate potential misuse. GPT-3, launched in 2020, marked the beginning of a proliferation of applications built as GPT API wrappers. This release introduced impressive capabilities like coding and blogging, thanks to its massive scale of 175 billion parameters, making it the largest neural network at that time. In 2021, OpenAI launched Codex, a model specialized in programming along with DALL-E. The following year, 2022, Whisper, a speech recognition model, was released, together with Point-E, a system for generating 3D models from images or text. OpenAI continued to refine GPT-3 between 2020 and 2022. In November of the latter year, they released ChatGPT. Within just 5 days, ChatGPT had over 1 million users and became a global phenomenon. Since its inception, OpenAI operated as a non-profit with a mission to build safe artificial general intelligence, or AGI, for the benefit of humanity. Achieving this required substantial computing power and a very talented team. And due to the contrasting nature of non-profit and for-profit entities, OpenAI invented and adopted a new capped profit structure. This model allows investors and employees to earn a capped return up to 100x, with any excess profits directed to the OpenAI nonprofit entity. OpenAI Incorporated, the nonprofit part of the organization, became the main owner of the OpenAI Global LLC, the for-profit side. This for-profit branch answers to the nonprofit's board and follows its rules and responsibilities. An important job of the board is to decide when OpenAI reaches the goal of creating AGI. The nonprofit board, which fired Sam Altman last Friday, included Adam D'Angelo, CEO of Quora and creator of the AI chatbot Poe. Other members were Tasha McCauley, a robotics engineer and CEO of Jim Sims Systems, Ilya Sutskever, and Helen Toner, Director of Strategy and Foundational Research Grants. Some people suggested a potential conflict of interest with D'Angelo's investment due to Poe, but the chatbot utilizes GPT 3.5 and 4 technologies and more than likely brings a lot of revenue to OpenAI. The board members changed constantly. For instance, Elon Musk left in 2018 due to potential conflicts of interest, and he expressed disappointment when OpenAI launched its for-profit LLC the following year. So the drama began unfolding on Friday, November 17th, when Sam was abruptly fired. The saga seemingly concluded on the 22nd November, with Sam's rehiring as CEO of OpenAI and the replacement of 3 board members. However, the full story remains unclear, known only to the board members, Sam and his team. The board has yet to explain why Sam was fired, and the best we can do is to speculate. People following the drama generally fall into 2 camps. The first believes that drama happened because of human element only. Maybe there's a personal conflict between Sam and 1 or more board members, possibly involving jealousy or backstabbing. The second group believes that AGI was achieved by OpenAI. The board panicked and disagreed on the next steps, leading to Sam's dismissal. Soon after the news broke, the situation turned into a complete soap opera. The mainstream media didn't really help by adding its own dramatic spin to everything. And here's a list of my personal highlights of the madness. First, there was Greg's scandalized tweet, seemingly blaming Ilya, who then became Twitter's most hated figure. The next most hated person was Mira. Even though she wasn't a board member, the night before the firing, she was informed that she'll become an interim CEO. Of course, since she reached such a high position overnight, the public had to initiate some important debates about her and her leadership abilities. Like, is she hot or not? And most importantly, is she Indian? Around this time, OpenAI employees started replying to each other with hearts. Some hearts were blue, others were yellow and red. The only possible explanation was that this was coded language that us mere mortals who don't work at OpenAI cannot understand. Surprisingly, Ilya redeemed himself by tweeting how regretful he feels. This message was followed by even more hearts. Obsession with hearts is something that even Paul Graham noticed. After this, we saw Angry Sam, front and back edition. Then Sam and Greg nearly started their own Microsoft AI Research Lab. In parallel, almost all OpenAI employees signed a letter threatening to resign in case the board doesn't resign. This letter was signed by Ilya, which means that he was threatening to resign unless the board that he's a member of resigns. Then there was another plot twist. It's not Ilya who fired Sam, it's Helen Toner, a researcher with ties to effective altruism movement. This is a popular movement whose mission is determining the most effective ways to improve the world through rational analysis and utilitarianism. Focus is often on global health and poverty. Sam Beckman-Fried was a notable proponent and donor to effective altruism causes, and with his public downfall, he successfully cast a shadow over the whole movement and raised questions about its funding sources. Effective altruism proponents tend to fall into doomer category, and they like to argue that AI could cause existential threat in the near future. The latest news was that Sam and Helen had a fight because she recently published a research paper that mildly criticizes OpenAI. On top of that, there's that effective altruism link. So the title of the most hated person on Twitter went from Ilya to Helen for one whole day. Just as dust started settling, Reuters decided to publish a weird article that mentions a major AI breakthrough, Project Q Star. Allegedly, just a week before the whole drama, Mira informed employees about the project that some believe might mean AGI. For those who don't know, Reuters isn't a gossip website. It's a very famous mainstream news publisher with long history and a big number of journalists awarded for investigative journalism. So for them to go ahead and publish this article means that they probably have a really reliable source of information, an insider at OpenAI. This article mentions that Q-Star is capable of solving mathematical problems, and some machine learning experts in social media claim that Q-Star could be a reference to two different things: Q-learning and A-star algorithm. In simplest terms, Q-learning is a technique in machine learning where a computer learns to make decisions by trying different actions and remembering which ones lead to better outcomes. And A-star is an algorithm for finding the shortest path from one point to another in a way that is more efficient than trying every possible route. At least that's what ChatGPT says. I'm definitely not familiar with any of these two terms. So to end this video with some sort of conclusion, my take is that this drama showed how dysfunctional OpenAI is. Company almost died twice in 5 days. I have plans to build my own AI app and I'll talk about it in the future, but right now I want to do everything humanly possible to avoid building on top of OpenAI's API. Because the truth is that drama made me develop trust issues. I feel like my faith in the company would be restored in case we see a thorough investigation that might somehow explain why the board decided to fire Sam in the first place. What worries me is that Sam has intentionally or unintentionally developed a cult of personality. He has become an embodiment of OpenAI and AI in general. People get excited when they see him, and he and OpenAI have made machine learning more popular than ever. The fact that investors and almost all employees at OpenAI wanted Sam back, and that they were even ready to leave their jobs in safety just to follow him, proves that Sam is an excellent leader. But it's important to avoid idolizing him. After all, he is just a human and he can make mistakes just like everyone else. The board has never proven that he did something wrong this time. But if Sam does something wrong in the future, OpenAI employees, nonprofit board members, and users should hold him accountable, even if the majority finds him likable, charismatic, and inspiring. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching and have a good one.